Good evening. The previous class we were discussed one seed promotional policy, that is that policy on seed development 1988. So that mainly deal about import of any useful material from anywhere in the globe for the benefit of the farming community. So import of the material that will be provided to the farmers. By that way, we are working for improve the farm income and national productivity. So that is the main agenda. So under that open general license also provided for the importers after satisfying the requirements of that policy 1988. So for that purpose also, if it is agriculture crops, they have to get recommendation from the ICR. If it is horticulture crop, they have to get the recommendation from the Department of Horticulture and Director of Horticulture. Then the material will be tested by the ICAR. Based on the test that will be given to the importers, with that only that importers can approach Department of Agriculture and Cooperation. Then only the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation will pass that application to the controller of the import license. Then only the license will be given, then material will be imported. So that is the main aspects with reference to that policy on seed development 1988. So in continuation of that seed promotional policy, today we are going to discuss about that National Seed Policy 2002. So the main objective of that National Seed Policy 2002, so here that the provision of appropriate climate for the seed industry to utilize available and prospective opportunities with reference to development of high yielding varieties. So whatever that varieties is developed, that will be protected, and then protected variety will be given for the commercial cultivation. The ultimate aim is to increase that SRR of our country, that is the seed replacement rate of our country. Once that seed replacement of our country is increased, there will be an increase in the production productivity. So automatically we can have a food security and nutritional security. So that is the main objectives. So even though we are providing all sort of a favorable climate for development of variety and protections, at any cost, side by side we have to protect the interest of the farmers also. That is a free to exchange, they can reuse the material, all those things we have to ensure. So that also is the second objectives. The third one, so even though we are going to utilize that biodiversity available in our country for the purpose of developing a new variety, there should not be over exploitation and should not be we should not create any trouble to the agrobiodiversity. So biodiversity need to be conserved. So we are going to that safeguard the interest of the farmers, and also we are going to conserve the biodiversity. Apart from that, mainly we are going to work for development of a high yielding material, mainly for the purpose of increasing the production productivity of our country. So these are all the main objective of the National Seed Policy. So these are all the core elements of the agriculture strategy of the new millennium. So here that I already told you, so we have to enhance that seed replacement rate for various crops. So for this purpose we have to increase the production potential of the quality seed production potential of both private and public sectors, and the private sector also expected to contribute more with reference to that quality seed production and distributions. And another main thing is to adapt economic pricing policy. So this is also very important, which would seek to realize the true cost of production. So economic pricing policy alone will realize the true cost of productions, and the creation of facilitative climate for the growth of competitive and localized seed industries. So that also very important. Then encouragement of the import of useful germ blossoms. So the permission will be given for import of useful germ blossom for the purpose of breeding activities and development of new kind of materials. And ultimately we have to work for boosting up our exports, because through export only we can earn more money. So already right now that Indian seed domestic market value is 2000 billion US dollar, and our export value also very less, and our export destination also only that in and around Indian countries, particularly Bangladesh, Philippines. So apart from that also we need to go for that export our material. So for this purpose so we have to create a facilitative and conducive environment for development of new high yielding varieties, and that variety should have internationally acceptable quality, and then only we can boost up our export. So for all these things, some provisions are made available in this particular new seed policy 2002. So today we are going to discuss one by one. So around 10 thrust areas are there, so we are going to discuss one by one. The first thrust area, that is a varietal development and plant variety protection. So here major emphasis was given for development of a new variety, side by side production of that particular variety through that better system like PVP. So here that the first thing is the development of a new and improved varieties, and whatever that varieties are developed, that will be made available for the cultivation to the Indian farmers. And then side by side effective zoosanitary systems will be developed for intellectual property protection. So whatever that variety developed, that variety will be protected through that PVFRA kind of systems. So once this kind of protection is available, so there will be a huge investment with reference to R&D sector related to that varietal development, both private and public sectors. So this will create a competition among the seed and the seed groups. So as an outcome of that, that Indian farmers will get good quality planting material. So whatever may be that new varietal development or varietal production, at the same time we have to preserve the rights of the farmers also. That is they can save the material, reuse the material, exchange the material. So that things need to be preserved. Similarly, that researcher rights also need to be preserved. Suppose the researcher they wanted to use the protected material for further R&D purpose, mean they can free to use. So and that rights also we are going to retain. And if at all that researcher they are going to use already protected material for the purpose of developing a new variety, means there should be a suppose they are getting some outcomes, say they are come out with some useful varieties, and there should be a benefit sharing between the researcher and the originally that the source material developers. So that kind of agreements also available in this particular thing. And then some farmers also involved in the conservation of the useful material, same individual farmers or a group of farmers or one particular village itself involved in the conservation of some useful gem blossoms. That gem blossom have some useful property that may be useful for the breeding of the new material. So under this case, those farmers or a group of farmers or individuals is eligible for rewarding, mainly for honoring their effort towards the conservation of the useful material. So that things also there in this particular case. It also decided to establish a national gene fund. So by accumulating that the payment and the compensation, all those things received from protection of the varieties, so that amount will be whatever that amount generated in the national gene fund, that will be used for rewarding of the farmers for their conservation activities. Then the another thing is also very important, that is a plant genetic resources for food and agriculture crops will be permitted to be accessed by the research organization or seed company from public collection as per the provisions of the material transfer agreement of the International Treaty of Plant Genetic Resources and Biological Diversity. So other institution or R&D institution also permitted to have access for the plant genetic resources in view of developing a useful varieties as per the material transfer agreement of the International Treaty of Plant Genetic Resources and Biological Diversity Bill. So this also a very good thing with reference to that private R&D side is concerned. So they can have access as per this particular material transfer agreement. So these are all the things with reference to the varietal development. The second thrust area is seed productions. So first one is varietal development. The second one is production and distribution of the quality seeds for the purpose of commercial cultivations. So here that public sector institution will be encouraged mainly to involve in the production and distribution of the good quality seeds in view of meeting that food and nutritional security of our country. And also it is decided to limit our seed production program to 3 generation system only, that is a breeder seed, foundation and certificate seed only. So nucleus seed will act as a that is a source material for the breeder seed production. and public sector agency will continue to have free access to the breeder seed like that of whatever the things are prevailing now, so under the national agriculture research programs. And also it was decided to a restructuring of the state farm corporation and national seed corporation, mainly for the purpose of effective utilization of those institutions for the purpose of production and distribution of the quality seeds. Then private seed production agency also given with access for the broader seed subjected to terms and conditions laid down by the government of India. So private seed sector seed company also given permission to have access for the broader seed production, broader seed material like that of the public sector unit, but they have to fulfill the terms and conditions laid down by the government of India. And another main thing is that State Agriculture University and ICR Institute, their primary responsibility is production and supply of the breeder seeds as per the state respective states intern. So State Agriculture University as well as ICR Institute, their primary responsibility is production and supply of the breeder seeds as per the state requirement. And another main thing also, now that most of the farmers they are using their own material again the name of farm saved seeds. So here they given some importance with reference to upgrading the quality of the farm saved seeds through intervention such as seed village scheme. So by the way of seed village scheme, some provision they made it to upgrade the quality of the farmer saved seed material. And also that Department of Agriculture and Cooperation in consultation with the ICAR and the state, they have a plan to establish a national seed map in view of identifying the non-traditional area and bringing all those non-traditional area for seed production purpose. So by that way area under seed production will be increased, so this leads to production of more quality of the seeds. So the development of national seed map, that also another important thing the part of this particular policy. And seed bank will be set up in non-traditional areas to meet the demand for seeds during the natural calamities. So this also another important thing as far as this particular policy is concerned. Then 10th one, to popularize the newly released hybrids as well as varieties, through this policy they are giving a seed mini kit program also. So in that seed mini kit programs, that newly developed varieties or hybrids, seed material will be given on free of cost to the farmers in small quantity. So whatever that quantity distributed to the farmers, they will use that material for rising of the crops. So by the way of rising the crops, they will realize the yield potential of that particular crops. Once they realize or know the yield potential of that particular crop, automatically they will start to purchase that material. That is ultimate aim of that seed mini kit programs. And also through this policy, it is advised to minimize the gap between the release of the variety and making availability of quality seeds of that particular variety to the farmers within a shortest period of time. That is, seeds of newly developed varieties must be made available to the farmers with minimum time cap. That also another main agenda. The 13th one is the seed growers will be encouraged to avail seed crop insurance, mainly to cover the risk factors involved in the production of the seeds. That also very important area. That is a seed crop insurance provisions also made it available through this policy. So these are all the things with reference to the production and supply of the quality seeds. The third thrust area is the quality assurance. So this is also very important. So here in order to regulate the quality of the seeds, so here it is decided to have some revision with reference to Seed Act, mainly to regulate the sale, import and export of the seeds and planting material, both agriculture and horticulture crops. And also decided to have a national seed board in the place of that central seed committee, so that national seed board will take care of all the activities pertaining to effective implementation of this particular seed act. That will be a topmost authority. And also the government will retain the rights to exclude certain kind of variety from the protections. from the in order to protect the public or human or health related things. And also that national seed board will have the power to cancel the registrations granted to a variety if the registration has been obtained by misrepresentations. So that kind of conditions, so the NSP will have the power to cancel that registrations. Then registration of the seed processing unit, that also very important. So mainly to ensure that the suitability of that processing unit to process and maintain the quality standards of the seeds will be assessed accordingly. That registration will be given for that seed processing unit also. Then as per that seed act, in this policy also it is accepted to continue that seed certification program is a voluntary and labeling is a compulsory. So because that label or tag provide assurance for the quality of assurance for the seed quality to the farmers. Then in order to improve the quality of our seed material, or in order to match our material as per the international standards, it is decided to strengthen our seed testing facilities on par with ISTA and OECD certification program. So that things also decided to establish under this particular policy, and all the conditions that farmers' rights will be retained. They are free to use on the exchange. So these are all the things with reference to that seed testing facilities. Then the fourth one is seed distribution and marketing. So this is also another important one. So these also need to be regulated. Then only whatever that material is produced either by the public sector or private sector, and that will be reaches to the farmers timely. So timely reaching of that material at affordable cost, that is very important. So in that angle, the fourth thrust area that mainly deal about that seed distribution and marketing. So here that effort will be made for setup of that efficient marketing in order to distribute the seeds to make that farmers to get that seed in right times. And also efforts being made to establish or to achieve coordination between the states with reference to interstate seed movement through relaxing that duties and taxes levied by the states. So by the way of liberalizing that duties and taxes, and that seed movement will be free. So for that also effort being made, and a mechanism also developed to create a marketing intelligence. So that marketing intelligence is very important. So once that marketing intelligence is developed, they will work for where that material is available in plenty, where that material is really needed. Once that source as well as that sink is known, automatically we can move the material from one place to another place. By that way we can avoid unnecessary storage of one material, and also we can avoid conversion of farmers from one variety to another variety due to non-availability of that material. So in that way that marketing intelligence also going to work for matching the gap between the demand and supply, or from source to sink. The national seed grid will also be established. So this also a database monitoring of information on the requirement of the seeds, production, distribution, and the preference of the farmers on district wise. So this also will going to support the better delivery of the seeds to the needy people at a timely manner. And another thing is access also given to that establishment of the marketing sector from the commercial bank, so that loan facilities or term facilities are available. The people will avail and create better marketing facilities, so that marketing facilities, marketing structures and all established, so the transfer of the seeds will be very easy. Then the fifth thrust area is a facilitative infrastructures. So creation of infrastructures with reference to that strengthening that seed production system, seed quality systems. So under this case, so many strategies were worked out to improve the infrastructure facilities with reference to production and distribution of the quality seeds or certified seeds. That the first thing is the establishment of the National Seed Research and Training Center. So proposal was given under this policy that National Seed Research and Training Center was established in the Varanasi, and that serves as the main center for imparting training and building a knowledge with reference to that seed and the seed related things. And apart from that, establishment of that central seed testing laboratory, so that the central seed testing laboratory will serve as a referral laboratory, and that will work for fulfilling the terms and conditions laid on the seed act. And modernization of seed processing facilities also will be encouraged, so mainly for improving the processing activities, so that will facilitate ensuring that the physical purity and all those things. And conditioned storage for builder seed and foundation seed, and aerated storage for certificate seeds also proposed to create the various regions of our country. So this will be useful one with reference to preserving the quality of the seeds at the time of storage, particularly that the breeder seed and all, it's a valued material, genetic purity and physical purity and all 100%, that the quality need to be preserved during the period of that storage. So for that purpose, definitely we need to provide that conditioned storage, so that provisions also available for creation of the conditioned storage and aerated storage at various regions of our country. Then sixth one, so this is also another very important one, the latest blooming area, so that is a transgenic plant varieties. Now we are adapting that transgenic technology mainly for the purpose of developing a variety, that variety have the that pest and disease tolerance. Apart from that, we are also working for development of the variety that have the potential to increase that productivity, as well as that will have a more nutritional quality. So these technologies effectively used for development of the variety with the pest and disease character. Apart from that, increased productivity and nutritional food security also. So whatever material may be developed through this transgenic technology, so before release of that material for commercial cultivation, that should be test verified with reference to environment and safety angle as per the guidelines given in the Environment Protection Act 1986. So we don't have any provision in the Seed Act 1966 with reference to testing the quality of the GMOs. There is no word with reference to GMO in the Seed Act. So whatever the things are available in the Seed Act, we are following with reference to production, testing and distribution of the quality seeds. So under these situations, to test verify the quality of the material, we are making use of these particular guidelines, Environment Protection Act 1986 guidelines with reference to testing of the material. So the material should be tested with reference to environment and biosafety before that commercial release as per the act, EPA Act. So that is very important. Then another thing is, suppose the material is imported for the purpose of R&D purpose, that transgenic plant varieties imported for the purpose of R&D purpose mean that should be routed through the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, NPPGR, as per the EPA Act 1986. So the material imported for research purpose, transgenic material imported for research purpose mean that should be routed through National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. In India, we have a National Plant Genetic Resources in New Delhi. But in Hyderabad, more number of seed companies are there, and International Institute ICRIS are also there. All those seed companies as well as that ICR, they are getting more number of material germ blossoms from abroad, mainly for the R&D purpose. So in order to handle or in order to facilitate all those agency, the Government of India started a regional office on National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources at Hyderabad also. Hyderabad, the regional office is there for that National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. So through that they are getting that material. So in that way, that the Government of India facilitating that R&D personnels. Then with reference to that transgenic variety, that should be tested to determine the agronomic value for at least 2 seasons under All India Coordinated Project Trials. So through All India coordinated project trial that should be tested for agronomic value side by side, the environment and biosafety also tested in coordination with the EP Act. So that also simultaneously we have to do. So after clearing these things only, that material will be released for the commercial cultivation. Even after release of that material for commercial cultivation, that material will be monitored for at least 3 to 5 years by Ministry of Agriculture and State Department of Agriculture. So already we tested. Even after testing at the time of commercial cultivation also, we have to verify that material, that the cultivation or impact of that material on environment and biosafety, all those things need to be monitored for another 3 to 5 years also. That also very important. Then these transgenic materials also can be protected through PVP mode, that is PPVFRA mode, like that of other non-genic materials. We can protect these materials also. And then at the time of importing of the material from the other country, that material should be accompanied with the certificate from competent authority of the exporting country regarding their transgenic characters. So competent authority must give a certificate about the transgenic characters that should be there. Then only that material will be permitted to enter in our country. So that is the things. And then in order to test verify all these kind of materials, it is proposed to establish a laboratory for testing, identification and evaluation of transgenic material in our countries. Also emphasis are given. So these are all the things with reference to transgenic materials under this policy. Then the seventh item, import of seeds and planting materials. So this also provisions are made it available. So the main objective of the import policy is to provide the best planting material available anywhere in the world to the Indian farmers. That is the ultimate aim. Wherever that best quality material is there, through this policy, it is decided to import those material. So by that way, it is decided to give a planting material to the farmers in view of increasing the farm productivity. So all the imported seeds and planting material will be allowed freely, subjected to EXIM policy guidelines and the requirement of the Plants, Fruits and Seed Order 1989 as amended from time to time. So these two things we have to strictly follow, the EXIM policy guidelines and also Plants, Fruits and Seeds Order also we have to follow at the time of importing of that material. And whatever that material imported from other country for this purpose, that also need to fulfill the minimum seed standards of the seed health, germination, genetic purity and physical purity. Here that one point I wanted to give more emphasis. So here we are going to insist that the seed health also. With reference to that domestic seed distribution systems, normally we bother about the germination, genetic purity and physical purity and moisture content alone. We never bother about that seed health status. But if the material come from other country, that should be subjected to seed health testing. So as per the details provided in the IPPC, that also we will discuss in the seed legislation systems. So the IPPC main aim is import or export of the material. At the time of import or export of the planting material, and that should not have any pest and diseases. That also we have to ensure. And then whatever that material are imported, that should be sample of material should be made available in the gene bank maintained by the NBPGR. That also very important with reference to this particular policy guideline is concerned. Then some provisions also made it available with reference to export of the seeds. So that with reference to India is concerned, India now all the three type of climate is prevailing: temperate climate, subtropical climate and tropical climate is there. So this is a really very good thing as far as India is concerned. Due to prevalence of all the three kind of climate, we can produce that seed material that is suitable for all the three kind of materials. So all those materials we can export to all the countries like temperate countries, tropical countries and subtropical countries. So India have a huge potential with reference to production and export of seed to our another country. So we have to make use of these things. And also it is proposed to establish a seed export promotion zone with special incentives from the central government will be facilitated. And also decided to have a data bank will be created to provide information on the international market and on export potential of Indian varieties in different parts of the world. Another database on availability of seeds of different crops to assess impact of export on domestic availability of the seeds. Once the seeds are exported to other country, what will happen with reference to our domestic market, that also need to be analyzed. So without affecting our domestic distributions, we have to go for that export. So at the time we are in a position to increase that protection and productivity of our quality seeds. Not only increasing that quantity is not sufficient, the quality parameters also we have to increase. So we have to improve the quality of our seed material. By that way only we can make our material to accept by the international market. And also we need to strengthen the testing and certification facilities that will be conformed with the international requirement. So these are all the things need to be given much importance in this particular national seed policy 2002. So after implementation of this one, we were created that NSRDC, and that NSRDC serving as a central seed testing laboratory, and also they are organizing the training the person involved in the seed production and testing and all those things. So these are all the things with reference to that national seed policy. So the ultimate aim is production and supply of more quantity of material for the benefit of the farming community. So by that way we are going to increase that SRR of our country. Once that SRR is increased, automatically the production potential also will be increased, so we can fulfill that food requirement and nutritional security of our country. So with that we are completing that national seed policy 2002. So in the next class we are going to discuss about that seed bill 2004. Thank you.